Psalm 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. This is a great psalm, but it's not just about the beauty of our creation. I think it's a lot more than that. I've been a fan of space and space flight for some time. I was born in 1968, so I was able to be right in the middle of the Apollo missions. Unfortunately, I was only a year and a half whenever man first stepped foot on the moon, and that's disappointing to me that I can't remember that at all. But I was still excited to be learning about that as a youth in elementary school. Then the space shuttle mission programs began to start, and I really enjoyed paying attention to that and watching those flights and hearing about those missions. In fact, we had inadvertently scheduled a vacation to Florida one time, and it turned out that they were going to do a space shuttle launch on the day that we were planning to be at NASA at the Johnson Space Center. And it was going to be the last flight of the space shuttle program ever. And I was very excited that this happened to work out. Didn't even mean to, it just kind of worked out. Unfortunately, because of weather concerns and different things, they had to delay it a couple weeks, and so we missed it, and I was only able to watch it on TV. But I've really always been fascinated by space and space flight. Well, recently that has been reignited again because of the SpaceX and the NASA working out things together, a commercialized space program through NASA, and 2 astronauts last month went up into space, the first time a launch from the United States soil for quite some time, and I was just fascinated by it all. Initially, I wasn't real sure how much I would like it, but then once I began to realize that this first flight means another trip to the moon in the next couple of years, and they're actually using that as a launching pad to possibly go into Mars in the next 20 years, it reignited this idea for me. My fascination with space and space flight falls into 2 areas. Number one is my love of the beauty of the earth. You know, when I look at life on Earth, I look at other planets and I see that they have some things that we have, but not everything. They have some elements that we have, but not everything. There might be life on other planets, but it's not the same as it is here on Earth. Earth is teeming with life. Everywhere you go, even in the deserts, even in the bottom of the seas, everywhere you go, life is here on this planet. And I think that's because that's what God designed it to be. The second reason why I fascinate about wanting to go up into space and space flight is simply because of the amount of time and effort and intelligence and calculations and practice and rehearsals and training that it takes in order for 2 astronauts to go up into space. There are 6,000 employees at SpaceX. There are 17,000 plus employees at NASA, and all of them are centered around basically this one concept of giving 2 people an opportunity to go up in space. I think it's fascinating. I don't know if you know this, but whenever a satellite or the International Space Station or something like that goes up into space, if they go too fast, they'll just continue out into space and never come back. If they go too slow, then they'll fall back to Earth and burn up and die. So the calculations that they have to figure out is how fast to go in order to maintain a steady fall back to Earth so that they're constantly shooting out but falling back into gravity just slightly. And yes, every once in a while there's a correction that they have to make, but it's fascinating to me. Well, recently I saw some video of the International Space Station, and I was able to record that right here on my phone, and it woke up the thought of what this is all about. In Psalm 19, verse 1, when it says, "The heavens declare the Lord's glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands." What does all that mean? And actually, I read the rest of that chapter, and it means so much more. See, the glory of God is found in the fact that things work. You know, the glory of God is found in the fact that things are very precise. The moon has circled the earth for a long time, a long time. And yet it's continually circling the earth at 28 days at a time. There are 8 planets, and if you are a Pluto fan, then you'll know that there's 9 planets that rotate around the sun, and they're all at different speeds and different distances. However, they all rotate the same direction, and they all rotate at the same plane. That's crazy to think about. The Earth spins like a top. It spins at 1,000 miles per hour, and it takes 23 hours, 56 minutes, 4.0953 seconds in order to accomplish this. Now, I will tell you that the Earth is slowing down its rotation. Sounds scary, doesn't it? Except it's slowing down at a pace of 2.3 milliseconds every 1,800 years or so. Not very fast, is it? Precision. How precise is the planets? How precise is the Earth? How precise is the size of the moon in relationship to its proximity to Earth? It's called creation. You know, every time somebody goes up in flight, we don't really question, how did that happen? We don't think, isn't that magical? What we think of is the 17,000 people at NASA, the 6,000 employees at SpaceX that put time and effort and consciousness towards this one purpose. When we look at God's creation, its creation screams creator. It screams precision, and it screams life that came from life. In this scripture, I want to read to you one more little thing. And in this, I want you to see that the same God who created this world for us to live in is the same God that has created the rules and the guidelines and the precepts by which we should live for. We need to understand that they're not bad things. His expectation of us is not bad. In fact, his expectation of us gives us life. It gives us opportunity if we just learn to use it. Let me read to you Psalm chapter 19, verse 1 and following. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they display knowledge. There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. Their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. In the heavens he has pitched a tent for the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming forth from his pavilion, like a champion rejoicing to run his course. It rises at one end of the heavens, and it makes its circuit to the other. Nothing is hidden from its heat. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. The commandments of the Lord are radiant, giving light to the eyes. The fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The ordinances of the Lord are sure, and altogether righteous. They are more precious than gold, than more pure gold. They are sweeter than honey from the comb. By them is your servant warned. In keeping them, there is great reward. Who can discern his errors? Forgive me my hidden faults. Keep your servant also from willful sins. May they not rule over me.